Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I am in my makeup filming spot once again. It's been a little while, but I decided to do another get ready with me. I felt like the looks I was coming up with were kind of boring, and like I kind of kept doing a similar thing, so I didn't really feel like filming a get ready with me. But now I've kind of created a purple look that I like doing. I've worn it a couple of times more over the weekend because I'm still kind of trying to decide whether this is office appropriate. Maybe not completely, but maybe I can get away with it. What do you guys think? So yes, this is what I'm gonna be working on today. So if you wanna see how I've created this look, stay tuned because we're gonna jump into it straight away. Okay, let's start. So first I'm gonna start by using, as I always do, my Shadow Insurance from Too Faced. I'm gonna put this on my eyelids. And as I'm working on panning my Calvin Klein sheer creme eyeshadow still, I'm gonna be using that one as kind of my base as well. Kind of switching between using my fingers for this and using my brush. Like sometimes I like my brush better and sometimes my fingers. I feel like because I've got a good amount of pan now, I don't have to worry as much anymore about like sticking my finger into the product, which makes it a little bit easier to use with my fingers again as well. So then it's time for eyeshadows, and I'm gonna be using my Too Faced palettes, and I'm gonna start by using in the buff the kind of creamy white shade, which is almost gone by now. Just putting this on my brow bone. I want my lid to still have that little bit of stickiness from the base, so I'm not going to use this all over my lid. So now that's done, and normally I would be using Teddy Bear kind of as my transition color, but today I want to kind of create a more like darker on the lid and a little bit lighter in the crease type of look. So I'm going to be using this shading brush from Real Techniques with the pink shade Boy Toy as kind of a crease color. And this might be a little like shimmery for a crease shade, but every now and then a little shimmer. It's nice, I think. I'm just kind of blending this in the crease with that shading brush. And then I'm going back in with this brush. I didn't give you the name before. This is the Deluxe Crease Brush from Real Techniques, just to kind of blend that out a little bit towards the top. And then it's time for the purple. I'm using the exclusive shade from the palettes. There are a couple of exclusive shades in this palette, but this is like the purple one. It's kind of annoying that they don't have actual names, but what can you do? So this one I'm using all over the lids. I'm using it with this kind of stiff brush first because that's the easiest way to get like a good amount of color on my eyelid, because it just packs on the product in a little bit of a better way. And as you can see, I do get some fallout, but I'll take care of that later. So now I'm going in with this blending brush, and this is a blending brush from Sephora, but I don't know the name anymore because I've had this for so long that doesn't really show on the brush anymore. Just to kind of blend the pink and the purple together. And this makes for a still kind of light look if you look at it like this, but I like a little bit more definition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Essence brush, which is kind of like a pencil brush. It doesn't really have a name, and I'm going to be using that with the kind of brown purplish exclusive color. So the darker shade, one of the darker shades in the palette, and I'm putting that on my outer V to create just that extra little bit of definition. And then I'm going back in with the Sephora blending brush to kind of blend that in a little bit again. And as you can see, that doesn't make it extremely dark, but it just gives a little bit of extra definition on the outside, which I like. Then next it's time for the eyeliner, and as you guys probably know by now, I always use a black eyeshadow for that, and of course I'm going to be using Stiletto from my Too Faced Enchanted Glamourland palette for that. But I'm probably going to do that off camera because you can't really see too well, and I need to be really up close with my mirror to do this properly. Okay, so that is done, and in the meantime I've kind of tried to clean up things under my eyes a little bit as well. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do, just to give a little bit more of a highlight underneath my brow bone, is use my Catrice highlighter. And I'm going to be putting that kind of underneath my brow bone for just that little bit of shine. Like, it's not a really intense highlighter, so it won't do too much, but just gives me that tiny little bit extra. So now that all of that is done, I'm going to go in with my face, and I kind of wanted to show you guys this this time because I at the moment am not using any foundation. I'm only using concealer, so I thought it would be nice to kind of go through it. So I'm using two concealers at the moment. I've got the Revolution concealer, which is completely beaten up, as you guys can see, and I have this one in the fair color, and then I'm also using a Decay Naked Skin foundation, and this one is in light neutral, and this one I use under my eyes to kind of make this look a little bit better, and this one is what I use on, well, mostly my chin area because I've got quite some things going on over there, as you can see. And then I also use this on my cheeks like this, just because I always have quite a bit of redness on my cheeks, so just applying a little bit of concealer will make it a little bit more even, I guess. Naked Skin concealer, as you can see, I also use on my nose, just because for some reason that one works better, like with evening out my nose and kind of the areas around my nose, than the Revolution one does. This one is less dry as well, so that's why I like it better under my eyes, because I've got these little lines under my eyes that kind of, the Revolution concealer kind of builds up in those lines and like makes things a little bit too dry, so it emphasizes it, but the Naked Skin concealer doesn't do that for me. And the color match is just slightly better for under my eyes as well, so it works out perfectly. I'm just dragging this down a little bit as well to like help with the redness that's in my cheeks as well. That's all I do when it comes to kind of evening out my face at the moment, just because like it's summertime, it doesn't have to be like too much. I'm too lazy to buy a new foundation, maybe that's part of it as well. And then on top of it, like in summer I get a little bit more freckles, and I kind of like those showing through because it feels more summery. So now I have the concealer on, I always move to my eyebrows, and I'm still using my Makeup Forever eyeshadow for that in M536. My brows, and I'm finding it very hard to get them even lately. I just feel like this brow just naturally has more hair and is a little bit thicker than this one, so I always kind of have to overdraw this one a little bit, but hopefully it looks even enough. So next I'm gonna go in with my powder, and I'm using my NYX High Definition Finishing Powder with the Real Techniques powder brush. Just putting this all over my face because I don't use foundation everywhere, but I do want to kind of get the shine away, of course. And I'm always just kind of patting it in with my finger on it and put it under my eyes like this, because I feel like that helps a little bit better with setting my concealer over there a little bit better. Then we're nearing the end. Time for bronzer and contouring now. I'm using the NYX blush in Taupe for that. This just, like, I only use an extremely light hand because I don't want this to be too much. But it is the perfect color for me because it is very, very kind of gray toned almost. It's very cool. So it works well with my skin because a lot of bronzers or contours would be too orange on my cheeks. And I'm just using a kabuki brush for that. This one is from Hema, which is kind of a Dutch drugstore or something. Then it's time for blush, and I'm using my blush from my Too Faced palette. This is the La Vie en Rose blush. And I'm using my Real Techniques blush brush for that. I'm always focusing a little bit more on the back of my cheek and then going forward. Just because I feel like I've got a fairly round face, and this seems to work best for like the shape of my face if I don't put like all the blush on the apples of my cheeks, because that just emphasizes the roundness. Then it's time for highlight, and also for that I'm using my Catrice highlighting powder in Fairy Dust just on the tops of my cheeks. And on the tip of my nose and my cupid's bow. And then just because that contour comes off fairly strong, fairly easily, I'm always using kind of my brush that I would normally use for my foundation. So this is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to blend that bronzer out, just to be sure that I don't have like gray stripes on my face basically. Okay, and that's the face. Now I'm using the Real Techniques base shadow brush to go into that purple once again. And because this one is a little bit bigger, it's an easy brush to kind of smoke out the purple underneath my eyes a little bit. But not make it like too much, just give it a little swoosh of color. Swish? Swoosh? I don't know. And it just kind of blends it straight away. So now time for my inner corners. I'm using my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the color Milk. So. And I'm just kind of dabbing that into my inner corner as a base for my inner corner highlight, so it will show up a little bit more. And then for my inner corner highlight, I'm using the Real Techniques Detailer brush, and I'm using that with the George and Wheezy color in the Too Faced Enchanted Glamourland palette. And I'm applying that in my inner corners, and especially with the purple, or especially with the jumbo pencil underneath it, it just really makes it stand out against the purple, which I really, really like. Now I just quickly curled my eyelashes. I'm gonna be applying my face mist, which is the Body Shop Vitamin E face mist. It's what I use to kind of set everything. And then while that is drying, I'm gonna be doing my lips. And I've decided to use my Essence Volume Up lip gloss as kind of a base. And this is actually a pretty nice lip gloss in a way, where it is, I wouldn't call it watery, but it's just really not sticky. And for kind of a plumping lip gloss, I feel like that is not per se common. So I really like the consistency of that one. It's really easy to apply, you don't have to worry about anything. But then to kind of combine it with the pink and the purple on my eyes, I'm gonna apply the NYX lipstick in Christie, NYX. And just because I applied the gloss first, it just gives a nice glossy light pink kind of color. While if I would apply this straight to my lips, don't know how well you guys will be able to see this, but it's just like a really metallic pink color, which not really my thing. But with a lip gloss, it just looks kind of more glossy instead of shimmery metallic, if that makes sense. And then lastly, time for mascara. And I need a mirror for this as well. And that is it. That is kind of my purple look with my Too Faced Enchanted palette. Hope you guys liked following along, and I hope you guys liked the end result. Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye.